Cassandra Woods was a skinhead groupie, a tough little 24-year-old in Arizona, involved with a gang of thugs who traded on hate and violence in the name of racial purity and spewed their racial message everywhere.
Time to do our daily work for the cause.
Check them out. Look at that.
Get in the car.
You're a disgrace to every white male.
They're like-minded. They hate people. They're angry at the world. They want somebody to vent their frustration on.
And Cassandra Woods was right in the middle of their cause. She even labeled herself the Aryan Angel, with a large tattoo etched across her shoulders. Cops say Woods was also very possessive of her skinhead brothers.
Oh, yeah, give it up.
Had a temper that could snap on a moment's notice. That happened one night in a Phoenix pool hall.
Oh, this is gonna get good.
Hey, what's your problem? Sorry. The hell is your problem? Fox, you bitch. I didn't know anything. Oh, yeah, you should have kept your stupid mouth shut.
Cassandra Woods started a fight, and when the female bartender tried to break it up, the skinheads turned on her.
Get her.
It soon became an all-out battle. Woods and her gang were now slugging it out with the entire bar.
Come here. What's your... Get down here.
Cops say when gang members were thrown out of the pool hall, they were so full of rage and adrenaline, they attacked the first guy they saw. He was an innocent bystander named Cole Bailey, Jr.
She was encouraging these guys as they're kicking this poor kid to death.
As Cole lay dying on the sidewalk, Cassandra Woods and the other gang members took off.
When we lost Cole, it was overwhelming. It was just a feeling I can only describe as larger than life. It feels bigger than you. It makes you feel like you're dead, like you're a walking dead person.
Randy, please.
Cole Bailey used his grief and anger to fuel his own search for his son's killers. He vowed to bring these skinheads to justice, and one by one, cops found them and arrested them. Christopher Whitley, Brandon Miller, and Sammy Compton. But Cassandra Woods was still on the run. We turned to you to help us find her, and your tips quickly pointed the way. We now know that after fleeing from Phoenix, Cassandra Woods headed to western Michigan. She wound up in this roadside motel, living with her 2 young children and calling herself Vanessa. That's where she met Alan Greer, who was also staying at the motel. The two soon became very friendly.
I thought she was a pretty girl, you know. Got to talking to her, got to meet her, and we ride around to the stores, go out to eat and stuff like that. A couple of days, and yeah, I went with her for a while.
But Alan's brother Michael and his wife didn't think much of Alan's new friend.
I thought she was pretty, you know, nice lady and all, until, you know, maybe about 3 or 4 days after we met her, we realized she was selling drugs. My wife didn't like her no more.
And they didn't much care for the tattoos Vanessa seemed all too willing to show off.
She'd wear very skimpy clothes and show them off. And that's all she would talk about is Aryan stuff. How she hated black people and stuff.
And what most aroused their concerns about Vanessa was her interest in a TV show. This one.
She was asking me what channel America's Most Wanted come on. I just blurted out, why are you on it? And she's like, do you think I am? And I hesitated about giving a no. And she goes, well, that should have been like a quick no.
Lisa and Michael couldn't watch our show that night, but they called a relative who had access to our website. And that's where they learned that their brother had unwittingly hooked up with one of America's most wanted.
He was scared for his brother. He was trying to get Alan out of there. But it was kind of hard because then she would know what was up and then she'd take off running.
Knowing Woods might hit the road at any moment, Michael called the police. When Michigan State Trooper Christopher Pena took the call, he knew exactly who they were talking about.
I watched America's Most Wanted the previous evening, and I got a call from my sergeant, and he had said that to go check out a location of a tip that a person was seen on America's Most Wanted was at the hotel. And I kind of volunteered because I had seen the show the previous evening, so I had a little bit of background information on it.
By now, Woods had moved to another motel, but Trooper Pena was right behind her.
I stood right here behind the pop machine as concealment and kept an eye on room number 3. Cassandra Woods walked back outside of the room, and instead of going towards the car, which was back into spot number 3, she started walking towards me, where I then got out from behind the pop machine. I identified myself as a Michigan State police officer. I drew my weapon and I ordered her to the ground.
Cassandra Woods' run from the law was over, much to the relief of our tipster.
It could have been my brother. Nobody deserved to die over, even for nothing, and for no reason. If she can go and do that to somebody, then she can do it again. Another innocent person could die.
Cassandra Woods was rushed right back where she belongs, to Arizona, where she'll now face justice. The manhunt is finally over. The last violent, hateful gang member is behind bars. Thanks to you, a self-proclaimed Aryan angel has had her wings clipped. That was a great capture. Now, we've got another bad girl to take down. The crime she's accused of is unforgivable. But thankfully, there are 2 brave women out there making sure she's not going to get away with it. Anquinette Crosby has the story.
Hi. Pretty good.
This hard-working pair has a tough job protecting the children of California. Over the years, Bea Gomez and Lise Bachman-Carnes have seen all kinds of horror stories. These social workers thought they'd seen it all until they were handed this case.
I don't think I've seen this type of injuries on a kid that's alive. Usually I've seen pictures of abuse like this, but unfortunately it's been after a child's dead.
These awful pictures are of an 11-year-old girl we'll call Mary. On a cold December day, she was found wandering through the streets of Manteca, California, lost and confused. That is how she stumbled into the lives of Bea and Lise.
I was startled that she was so tiny, and I was also startled by just the vacant look in her face. She just almost looked like she wasn't there.
They knew right away that there was a story behind that blank face. They were determined to find out what it was and to make sure the little girl would not get lost again. Mary's awful secret was unraveled when she was brought to Dr. James Crawford. She wasn't just a lost child, but the victim of years of brutal torture.
This is a photograph of part of her back. There are hundreds of these small areas where nails were basically driven into her skin.
Okay, now we're seeing her hand.
This is a photograph of her left hand. Both of her hands had injuries, had scars that were essentially on her palms and parts of her fingers. The worst case scenario is she could have been beaten to death.
Now it was Bea and Lisa's job to find out who could do such horrible things to an innocent child. As Lise sat behind this two-way mirror, she watched Bea gently interview Mary. The women work as a team. You can't see it, but Bea wears a tiny earpiece, so Lise can talk to her during the interview and suggest questions to ask the traumatized little girl. As As Mary began to open up, they realized the awful possibility that the person who hurt her so badly was her own mother, Gracie Valencia, and the things the little girl said she did to her were appalling.
The first thing that she recounted was her hands being burned.
Are you outraged as a parent that this could go on?
It makes you cry. I mean, you can't sit there and have this child tell you. It's hard to listen anyway. But when you interview these children, you have to be neutral and just let them tell you what happened. And she just matter-of-factly tells you. She held my hands over the flames of the stove. She put my face over the flames of the stove. Tears you up inside.
Her voice was very monotonous, monotone. She just talked with no emphasis at all. It was just very flat. No expression on her face. Everything was just very, very flat.
If she were to describe an injury, how would she sound?
My mother would pull me by my hair, put me in the shower, and then get me all cold so it would hurt worse when she hit me.
Bea and Lise were so outraged by Mary's story that they did something extraordinary. Social workers in California are normally not allowed to give interviews, but these two determined women went to court and won a judge's permission to tell Mary's story on America's Most Wanted. They needed help to track down Gracie Valencia. As if it wasn't bad enough that Valencia had allegedly been abusing her daughter since she was just 4 years old, Bea and Lise soon learned something that made them even angrier. Mary could have been saved from years of pain, but she'd fallen through the cracks. It turns out that Gracie Valencia had been investigated in another county for abusing Mary, but nothing had been done about it.
In 1995, there was a report filed with Child Protective Services by an anonymous person claiming to be a coworker of hers. And that coworker said that they had watched her carry Mary out of the fast food restaurant where she was working in a garbage bag.
The report claimed someone had actually seen Mary thrown into the dumpster, but no one followed up, and the case was simply dropped. Bea and Lise promised that won't happen again. Thanks to them, Mary is now in a safe place. As for Gracie Valencia, police say when her violent abuse of an innocent child was finally discovered, she borrowed $600 and split town. Let's find her before she hurts someone else.
Gracie Valencia is heartless. She's a monster. She is a vicious, vindictive person who hurts her children.
Gracie Valencia is from Colombia, but she's a U.S. citizen and speaks excellent English. She goes by several aliases, including Yadira Montiel. She has ties to the Los Angeles area, but could be anywhere tonight. If you know where Gracie Valencia is, call our hotline at 1-800-CRIME-TV.
If you want to learn more about this tough case, please log on to our website at amw.com. You can leave your tip there, too, and remember, you can always remain anonymous. Now, we've got to grab some more bad girls later on in the show. But up next, our Rick Siegel has the story of a woman who's fighting for justice. And you can help her out when we come back. Stay with us.
Coming up next, a bank robber's bumbling getaway has the whole town laughing. But for one woman, it wasn't so funny.
And I said, "You robbed that bank?" And he said, "Yes."
She couldn't believe she was married to one of America's Most Wanted. Now she's with a busload of friends, and she started her own manhunt.
A bank robbery was an unusual occurrence in the tiny town of Red Wing, Minnesota. But the one that was pulled off in May of 2001 wasn't nearly as strange as the robber's getaway. After a rough escape on bicycle, then on foot, this robber made his way from the bank in Red Wing to the bank of the Mississippi River, where he'd stashed equipment for stage 2 of his odd getaway. He went downstream for hours until he decided the coast was clear. Then he made his way back to shore.
And he walked up onto the tracks and hopped a train and went into town where he had his car parked about a mile away.
Everyone in Red Wing was joking about the bank robber, including schoolteacher Jennifer Bjork.
I had a student that said, "Did you hear about the bank robbery last night," or whatever it was? And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "And they got away on a bike." And we laughed. The two of us laughed together. We laughed. That's so absurd.
But she stopped laughing when FBI agents showed up at her door and began asking questions about her husband, Mark Samples.
They wanted to know what kind of guns he had and if he had a face mask. And I'm like, what is going on? You know, and then I'm emotional. And I said, why are you here? You're scaring me.
Agents told Jennifer the gun dropped at the crime scene belonged to her husband. When Jennifer confronted him, he confessed to everything. Samples turned himself in and was charged with armed bank robbery, but he was let out on bail awaiting trial. Although Jennifer and her husband separated, Jennifer wanted to make sure he remained a part of their young son Christopher's life. It's a decision she would regret when last May, Samples took Christopher camping for the weekend and never returned. Samples made a last call to Jennifer, and she demanded to speak to her son.
He said, "Hi, Mama, we camping. And I said, "Christopher, Mama loves you to the moon and back." And then we got disconnected. That was the last time I talked to Christopher.
America's Most Wanted quickly joined the hunt for Samples and Christopher, and their story generated 170 tips.
Right, so the FBI is checking it out, okay? It went to the FBI task force, and they're checking it out.
One of those leads came from a tipster who said the fugitive and his son were in this home in Bradenton, Florida. This dark surveillance video was shot just a few hours later as FBI agents and sheriff's deputies prepared to hit the house. In the wee hours of the morning, they discovered that neither Samples nor Christopher was there.
Do you remember what arm it was that his tattoo was on?
Investigators exhausted dozens of promising leads, but there was no sign of Mark Samples and his young son.
The first 2 months, I pretty much didn't get out of bed. I didn't eat. But then I decided, this isn't helping Christopher. This isn't helping me find my little boy. So I decided, that was the day I decided I need to get up and fight for my son. And that's what I've done ever since.
In fact, Jennifer took a break from her teaching job to search for Christopher full-time. To raise awareness about him and other missing children, Jennifer helped organize a 4-day cross-country bus trip as the launch of what she calls Christopher's Crusade.
Thank you for each person here and their commitment to find Christopher.
Community and family members joined Jennifer on the 2,000-mile bus tour in December, passing out flyers and pins and doing whatever they could to get their message out.
I'm asking today that everyone open their heart and their eyes to please help me find my blue-eyed little boy.
Bring him home, Christopher, we're gonna bring him home. Christopher, we're gonna bring him home. Christopher, we're gonna bring him home.
Such an emotional roller coaster. I talk about Christopher and I'm so sad, and then I see the support of the people here and the singing to bring him home, and that they're all behind me, and they'll do anything to bring Christopher home, and we won't stop till he's home.
From Madison, Wisconsin to Chicago, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Lexington, and Charleston, Christopher's crusade rolled on. The bus tour ended here in St. Albans, West Virginia, where many of the riders expected a hostile reception. That's because this is Mark Samples' hometown, and many of the locals view him only as a hero. But his family takes it one step further. They say that Samples is a victim, and they contacted us claiming they could justify his actions.
Mark is a victim and has been for a long time.
Samples' family is not denying he robbed the bank, but they're saying it's not his fault.
It was not him based on the medications, the combination of medications that he was on. It was not him acting when the bank was robbed.
Samples' family claims his problems began back in 1987 when 2 Iraqi missiles struck the USS Stark on patrol in the Persian Gulf. 37 crew members were killed. A young gunner's mate, Mark Samples, bravely fought fires deep below deck and was credited with saving the ship. He returned home a hero, but the hell he lived through changed him. Samples needed treatment for hepatitis and post-traumatic stress disorder, and soon he would need back surgery. Samples' family produces documents to claim military doctors misdiagnosed or mistreated all of his conditions, and that a dangerous combination of drugs prescribed by a VA hospital altered Samples' personality.
The family would love to have Mark home again, but we don't want Mark to come back and have to pay for something that we felt he's more than paid for. All of this was in line with serving his country, everything that happened. He's going to live with the Stark all his life.
Nobody is denying the fact that Mark is a hero from the SS Stark.
Right.
And even if everything in that stack of medical information is true,
right,
how do you justify taking a 3.5-year-old boy, making him live a life on the run, denying him his childhood, and keeping him from his mother?
Nobody knows what kind of life they're living. Nobody knows.
What would you imagine? What kind of life could a little boy, a 3.5-year-old boy, be living if his father is wanted and if people know his face? And
I hope they're in another country and living happily. It's what I hope.
The bottom line is Mark Samples has been charged with robbing a bank. He needs to take care of that through normal court proceedings. The most important thing is the safe return of Christopher to his mother, Jennifer.
Christopher, wanna bring him home. Christopher, wanna bring him home. God, bring him home.
Wow, that's powerful. Now, let's reunite little Christopher with his mother by finding Mark Samples and bringing them both back tonight. Samples may have dyed his hair blonde, so it's possible he looks something like this today. He brushes his hair very aggressively, sometimes to the point where his scalp becomes raw. Samples has this tattoo of the warrior Genesis on his right arm. Now, he's a neat freak and likes everything tidy and put in its place. He's worked in hospitals drawing blood and is obsessed with veins. We believe he's still traveling with his son, Christopher. That's why we need to act fast. Samples is believed to be armed and is talked of committing suicide, so Christopher could be in great danger. If you think you've seen Mark Samples, please don't hesitate. Call 1-800-CRIME-TV. We need to bring this little boy home. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Coming up. Your tips tracked an escaped convict all the way down to the land of Carnival. Now we've got to get shaky and put him away again for good.
We've shown you a lot of bad girls over the years, and right now, we want you to see a few who've slipped through the cracks. So please, pay close attention. We really want to solve these cases once and for all. Desiree Lingo Perkins was a prostitute in Troop, Texas.
Next week? Maybe sooner. That is, you'd like to make some real money.
In March of 2000, cops say Perkins did figure out how to make more money. She got involved in a business deal with one of her customers. The business was kidnapping. The target was Kyle McElroy, the teenage son of a local businessman.
This Kevin McElroy?
We have your son, Kyle.
What are you talking about?
We kidnapped him. This truck's on Highway 110, 5 miles out of Troop. There'll be a ransom note inside. But don't call the police. We'll be watching you.
Cops say Perkins gave instructions on when and where to drop off the ransom. But the FBI was waiting when some of the kidnappers showed up to get it.
We got two going to the launcher. They got the money. Let's go, go, go.
The agents weren't the only thing the kidnappers ran into. The captured gang members told agents where to find Kyle McElroy. But when they went to recover the kidnapped victim, they made a grisly discovery. Kyle was dead. All of the accused killers are behind bars except for one. The woman cops say was central to the plot, Desiree Lingo Perkins. Perkins may still be working as a prostitute along the U.S.-Mexico border. She sometimes goes by the alias Esperanza, and she has a butterfly tattoo on one of her calves. If you know where Desiree Lingo Perkins is, call us tonight. Nova Guthrie and Craig Pritchard were in love with each other, and cops say in love with robbing banks.
All right, this is robbery. Get over here where I can see.
It's not very often you run across somebody who enjoys robbing banks, not only for the money, but for the thrill of robbing banks.
Agents say that by Halloween of '97, Nova Guthrie would become the Bonnie to Pritchard's Clyde. They say while Pritchard worked the inside of a bank, Nova worked the outside.
Baby, it's all clear. I'm moving around. I'm back. I love you.
I think Nova is infatuated with Craig. She comes from a smaller area in Colorado and from a very conservative and spiritual family, and I think she found him and his lifestyle exciting.
The FBI suspects Pritchard and Guthrie hit banks in Texas, New Mexico, Montana, and Oregon, allowing them to live a life of luxury.
If Craig and Nova aren't robbing banks, they're doing what most every person would love to be doing. They're skiing, they're snowboarding, they're staying in nice places.
But the FBI believes this bank-robbing couple hasn't retired yet, so let's get them tonight. Craig Pritchard has some interesting taste that might make him easy to notice. He drinks Guinness with a side order of jalapeno peppers. Nova Guthrie has a distinctive tattoo of the sun on the small of her back. If you've seen Craig Pritchard or Nova Guthrie, call our hotline.
Up next, we've got a cage of jailbird who flew south. The good news is that your tips tracked him down once. But the bad news is, tonight, we have to catch him all over again.
July 2001, a major manhunt in Tennessee. The search was on for 5 inmates who staged a daring breakout from the Blount County Jail.
It looks like they had it prepared for about a week.
The escape plan was simple. 5 prisoners secretly braided torn bed sheets into a strong rope. When the time was right, they used it to climb up to the roof and through this hole in the fence.
Yeah, there you go.
Within hours of the breakout, sheriff's deputies corralled 2 of the inmates with help from this manhunter. And by the next day, cops captured a 3rd escapee. 3 down, these 2 to go. Michael Robinson and Warren Smith, a pair of dangerous drug dealers with nothing to lose.
Warren was the spearhead. He was the one that talked the other inmates into tearing the strips off of the bed, into helping him braid the rope, talked to the other federal inmate into keeping the rope in his cell, and he just seemed to be the man with the plan.
And the plan worked. After the escape, he and Robinson slipped through the dragnet, so cops turned to us for help.
America's Most Wanted.
When we showed you these 2 guys, you put the marshals back on the hunt. You spotted Smith and Robinson all over the United States.
What city and state?
I'm just calling from where? I just calling from L.A.
The tip the marshals were most interested in came from the South, way south. Brazil, the land of Carnival, a vacationer's paradise. 4,600 miles of beaches and more than 170 million citizens. Beautiful people and beautiful land. Brazil was just the place where these 2 counted on disappearing forever. But they didn't count on our viewers. After landing in Brazil, Smith and Robinson went their separate ways. The deputies were tracking their every move, and within weeks, had both men in custody.
It's really cool. It's nice to actually follow the story from the first and be there the night of the escape and be the lead agent on a case and follow it through and actually take the phone call that you know is going to tie everything together.
That was the end of the road for Robinson, but Warren Smith's journey was just getting started. Smith landed in this Brazilian jail where he immediately hatched another escape plot involving a small smuggled saw blade. Using the smuggled blade, Smith slowly and methodically sawed through his prison bars. Now all he needed was a distraction to draw the guards' attention away. On March 8, 2002, he'd get his chance. When the Brazilian soccer team takes the field, all eyes are on them, including prison guards. Smith took that opportunity to slip out the window. He hasn't been seen since.
He is a very arrogant person. I would imagine that more than likely Warren's going to be living the easy life. He is going to have large amounts of money.
Money he carefully hid before he went to prison.
He hoarded the money like a squirrel. He would take it and put it down in creatine bottles. And he would seal them up with duct tape, and he would bury them. And his friend said that he would have anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 in one jar.
Police believe he's gathered up his buried treasure by now and using it to bounce around the world. The latest word is Warren Smith has fled Brazil. He's fluent in English, Spanish, Portuguese, and German, so he could blend in any number of places. If you've seen Warren Smith, give us a call at 1-800-CRIME-TV.
You know, we've caught fugitives all over the world, 31 countries to be exact. Now, Smith is just another dirtbag who's going to learn the hard truth that there's no hiding from you. Now, if you want to take another look at Smith and get more information about this case, you can log on to our website worldwide at amw.com, and that's where you can also leave your tips. As always, you can remain anonymous. Now, don't go away. We've got more bad girls when we come back.
Coming up next, we're on the hunt for a little girl.
Want to open the door a second, please?
And not everyone wants us to find her.
Jason, just want to ask you, what time is Steve coming?
Our detectives go south of the border to follow the trail.
She definitely came across that bridge.
Tonight, your tips hold the key to her return.
Sometimes people think their lives are perfect. Then suddenly, when they take a closer look, they find out the perfect picture they had in their minds was only an illusion, and that reality is much darker than they imagined. That's just what happened to a guy in our next story. We put our detectives on the case to find out just what happened.
If I told you that every single thing in life is not black and white, would you believe me? Each of us perceive things as individuals. Our lives, past and present, shade the way we see them. Some of us cling to the world of black and white. Others thrive in the shadows of gray, manipulating it to suit their own best interests. Most of us believe everything we see and hear is true. But what if I told you it was all a lie?
Why should you believe me? Well, I'm Ron Antosi, a retired cop from New York City. So's my partner, Jim Rodriguez. And in the 20 years of chasing bad guys, we thought we'd heard it all.
Well, you know how that works.
That was until we met Greg Allen, an engineer in Austin, Texas. He told us a story about a woman named Dara.
Dara is capable of being very charming and very sweet, but usually it's with an ulterior motive. She's absolutely excellent at making people feel sorry for her and take up her cause and help her out. I've been told so many stories, I don't know what the truth is.
Their 3-year marriage unraveled almost from the start. Even though they had a beautiful daughter they named Sabrina.
She would leave the baby monitor with the neighbors and go to the grocery store and apparently meet a boyfriend at the local park. I found out that she was cheating on me and lying to me and had planned to take Sabrina out of the country. I got a restraining order and filed for divorce.
On the advice of a psychological evaluation, Greg was awarded sole custody of Sabrina.
Daryl was diagnosed with a personality disorder and given supervised visitation.
The court-appointed psychologist was concerned that Dara simply was not going to be able to let go of the fight and was going to do everything she could to get back at me forever.
Sure enough, Dara began contact with the Child Protective Services, accusing Greg of abusing Sabrina. An investigation concluded that Dara was fabricating these stories as she was ordered into therapy.
Sabrina told the Child Protective Services, "My daddy hits my mommy," but that's a lie my mommy told me to say. From the very beginning, Dara has been trying to get Sabrina to say things to build a case against me. It's even gone as far getting Sabrina to say, "My daddy touches my pee-pee."
Did you ever abuse Sabrina in any way?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
For 2 years, Daryl had been threatening to abduct Sabrina, and she did. She took her 4-year-old daughter and vanished.
What is your number one concern for your child?
Well, Dara has some pretty serious mental health problems, some real stability issues, and Sabrina is not in a safe place.
Dara only had visitation rights, and evidently she didn't feel that this was to her liking, so she took the child and left.
Do you know of any research she may have done?
She's been planning this for quite a while.
Where do you think they went?
She had some assistance from a male person that took her around Austin, and then he also drove her down to Laredo and took her across the border.
Do you feel that Sabrina, the child, is in danger?
Yes, I do. If she is down in Mexico, there's a matter of cults that exist where young, blonde-haired, blue-eyed babies are like a jewel.
We needed to retrace Dara's steps.
I hope we can find this kid. I mean, he was...
By Jason?
Yeah, you know.
We headed to San Antonio to look up Jason Gonzalez, the kid who drove Daryl over the border. He was now working for a local PI.
He becomes a key player like anything is in a homicide. He was the last person to see her before she so-called vanished.
Jason was typical of the type of person Dara could seduce into helping her.
Want to open the door a second, please? Jason, just want to ask you, what time is Steve coming? Jason, we sent them guys away. Why don't you just relax and you're not in trouble? Take it easy, man. You're not in trouble. I hope you understand that. He's petrified. I mean, we can't even tell you how bad he's petrified. He's actually shaking. His fear makes him look so guilty, though. It's really frightening. He turned white. Come over here.
We followed Dara's trail south to Laredo, Texas, the last place Sabrina was seen in the U.S.
Querimos el área de estacionamiento más cercano. Okay, so what we got, Ron, is he directed us to the central bus station, which is the only one they would go to.
This is what now, Nuevo Laredo?
Nuevo Laredo. You're in Mexico, remember, totally different world.
Once at the bus station, Jason said Dara refused to let him carry her bags inside. What secret was she hiding? Her destination?
Oh, la muchacha se llama Dara Lloren, Maria Lloren. He's going to check the name to see if it shows up in any database.
Es que no me da información la computadora. Borran todo hasta de un mes atrás nada más me da información.
The computer 1 month, and they automatically re-erase. Okay. He says the bus drivers switch routes and destinations. We can go by the buses and show these some of the bus drivers. Okay. ¿Qué tal? Todo, muchas gracias. ¿Qué tal? Estamos con un programa en televisión, se llama America Most Wanted, Estados Unidos. Buenas. ¿Qué tal? Buenas tardes. Hay una recompensa de $1,000. Vamos a ponerle este rótulo afuera. Uno al día sale nada más.
No salen más corridas.
Una preguntita bien rápida. Estamos buscando una niña que fue secuestrada. Estamos reporteros de los Estados Unidos. No se le ve, que quizás le ve la cara. ¿No te acuerdas?
She definitely came across that bridge.
No doubt in my mind.
With Jason. Excellent. All right. I see having no problem getting on a bus here.
But from here, she could get lost, go anywhere she wants.
Anywhere.
There is no way, there is no records check, no name check, zero. So this is, we're going to have to, from this point on now, we continue our search into Mexico.
We don't know where Dara and Sabrina are, but as we continue our search, we know they're not where they should be. If you know anything about these two, please help them by calling our hotline tonight at 1-800-PRIME-TV.
Indiana cops say Cynthia Wismiller is an armored car driver who drove off with almost $500,000. Call if you know where she is.
It's the fastest growing crime in America. Internet prowlers steal your name, your vital statistics, and then they own your identity. But now you can fight back and protect your good name. It's John Walsh's Street Smart, an identity theft protection system that alerts you whenever anyone, anywhere in the country, tries to use your name. Check out the program for 30 days. If you're not convinced this is the best way to protect yourself from identity theft, return it and you won't be charged a cent. To order, call 1-877-AMW-GEAR or find us on the web at amw.com. Order today, and for just $5 a month, you can be street smart.
I'm John Walsh. Thanks a lot for watching tonight. And remember, you can make a difference.
Don't miss a new Mad TV, Fox late tonight.